Hi guys, in this video we're going to be painting the sunflower truck. Make sure you get your board out. You'll have holes drilled up in these top corners to put your jute in. I just haven't done mine yet. Get your paint on your plate or leave it in your cups, however you want to do it. You're going to want to mix on your plate. I have a little jar of water and your brushes. I have 3 sizes, kind of this medium, a small, and then like this detail-y, long, skinny guy. So to start, I'm going to be painting the whole body of the truck. I'm not going to worry about my fender flares right now, or the headlight, or the bumper, or the tires. So just like this body of the truck, go around the window. The color we're going to mix up, we're going to be using a lot of white and a little bit of yellow. And we're going to have to do several coats of this just for good coverage. So make sure you mix up quite a bit. You don't want to have to run out and make more. So it's just a very pale, kind of buttery yellow color. My white is just oozing everywhere. I haven't painted this yet. You'll be learning with me. Okay, so I am just gonna come in and just paint the whole truck. I'm gonna cover all those white lines. Just nice, thin, even layer of paint. Don't worry that you're not getting good coverage, because like I said, we will definitely need more than 1 coat. Maybe even 3, I'm not sure. Mine is freshly stained. It's not even really dry yet. So I will probably have to do a little bit more than you guys as far as coats to get good coverage, just because that stain is gonna be more apt to seep up in through the paint. But maybe not. We'll see how she goes. So by the end of this, I really don't hope or plan on this being the final color. I'm gonna be brightening it up, but just for the sake of getting good coverage, I want lots of white in my paint. We'll see how it goes. So far, the ones I've offered you guys as kits, I've already had painted. So I came in knowing what I was doing. I don't want to like paint it and then have to paint it again for the video. So we're just gonna do it together. If I change my mind halfway through, sorry. Might have to go back and do something else. Hopefully I have a good plan. I'm just taking my time around the windows. I did get a little sloppy, but it'll be okay. Trying to smooth out all your globs. Like I said, second coat, definitely gonna help. So you can obviously see a lot of the wood showing through. I'm gonna flip my board around just so I can reach this better. So I've got one coat. I'll go ahead and start back at the beginning where it's dry. So definitely make sure between coats your paint is dry. If it's still tacky, it will lift and then you'll just have a mess. So before you move on to second coat, just wait a few minutes, grab your blow dryer, whatever you have to do. I'm positive this is dry though. So I'm just gonna give it another coat. Wasn't really sure what color to paint this truck. I wanted a new color truck. I was thinking that a red truck would look nice, but I already did a red truck. The Christmas truck is red. So I was like, we haven't done a yellow truck. I know the flowers are gonna be yellow. I'm hoping it turns out and looks nice. We'll see. Might need some tweaking. My window just slowly gets smaller and smaller. And again, I'll flip it just so I can reach and see that a little better. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need another coat on top of that because it's pretty splotchy. Just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna do one more coat. I'm gonna just hit it with the blow dryer quick just to make sure, because the paint is starting to get a little thicker, so it's not gonna dry as quickly. Alright, so I'm just going to go back in. I'm going to do another coat. Excuse me, let me make sure you're centered again. Looks good. Just another thin, even coat, same color. As you start to build your layers, it does go a little quicker. Because at this point, I'm just trying to hit the spots that are obviously need a little bit more paint. And mine may only need more just because of my stain was still wet-ish. So you might have nice coverage at this point. Not sure. This top edge, I don't think it's going to be that important. I think the flowers are probably going to be coming down over the lip there. But, like I said, I'm not sure what's going to happen. By the end of it, I might end up just painting the whole thing blue. Who knows? I think maybe just one more to be safe. I'm gonna blow it dry. Okay, so just another quick coat. This should go fairly quickly. Just kind of where I'm seeing some of that wood still show. I mean, and obviously it's a painting, so it's not going to be, you know, absolutely perfect like it was printed on with a screen printing or a print press. We're gonna see brush marks and all that in there. All right, I'm good with that. So let's see. Now I want to brighten this up a little bit. I don't want it quite so pastel. So I'm just going to add quite a bit more yellow into my mix here. I don't need to mix all of it, like save some to the side. And that looks a little bit better. It's more like a lemon. Before it was kind of buttery, now we're lemony. I don't want all that paint on my brush. So I want a thin, even layer. And then this coat, oh yeah, that's better. Now we're nice and yellow. So if I had done this to begin with, this color right here, it would have taken so much longer to cover the wood up because yellow is almost transparent. It needs white in it. So if you were to just paint yellow, I can show you. If you just paint straight yellow right there, it's gonna look terrible. Let me just grab a different brush here. So just this yellow, you can't even see it. So that's why we put white with it. Just get water on my brush. Ooh, I'm liking this. This is pretty. All right, so I'm gonna go in and put in some shadows. I think just one coat of that is pretty good. Try to get all my lighter yellow covered. Oops. You don't want any of that sticking out anywhere. Okay, so for shadows, let me look. I'm thinking, I put this color on my plate thinking this would work well. So let me try that out. Let's just see what happens. Don't you do it yet. Wait till I mess mine up. So I think if I just add a little bit of white and with this kind of ugly yellow color, let's see how it looks on. Doesn't look too nice right there. But I think I can kind of brush it in. Oh yeah, that works. Because it's kind of got an oranginess to it. So just very lightly, I'm using a smaller brush. I'm kind of just getting a little bit of shadows down. Right along, I'm on the yellow, right along kind of where this fender flare bubbles out. And you might need to take a little bit of the color we put on top there, just kind of on the edge to help kind of soften your edge. Yellow is a hard color to work with because it's very transparent. This is probably very subtle. I don't even know if you could see it on the screen. Let me look through the screen and see what's happening. Yeah, I can't see it. A little too subtle. I'm gonna take a little bit of this orange just to try it out. This will be a second step. Yeah, okay, so let's not do that yet. I'm gonna finish, I wanna do the same to this side that I did to this side. So I've got this color here, and I'm just gonna lightly brush around my edge. I know it's hard to see in the video. Hopefully it shows up a little better for you guys than I can see through the screen. Kind of going up the back. And I'll take a little bit more of my yellow, the bright yellow, just to kind of blend it. It is a very subtle change in color, so it's pretty easy to work with. You don't have to really worry about getting way too much on. So I'm gonna take this same color, I'm gonna create kind of like a running board down here. So I'm just gonna go straight across, and it's still this kind of ugly yellowy color. Just gonna brush a little of that on, and I'll come like around the cab a little. I'm gonna kind of create a door, so I'll just kind of come down, across, and then down. It's real loose. And then just take a little of the yellow we used before. You can kind of tone her down, blend it a little bit. Same with up here. And then there's this kind of bump in the back. I'm gonna create kind of a lip. And I'm just gonna go straight across-ish. And I'm gonna shadow more kind of under the lip. Then just again, with my yellow color that I had put on top, just maybe blend that out a little. Back to this color. Go kind of right on the edge of my windows. Just kind of sketchy. Maybe add a little bit more of my yellow color. And then I'm going to come around the top of the hood a little. Then I'm going to take my bright yellow color and just smooth that out. Oop. So we've got a little variation in colors on there. It's not quite so flat. Next I'll go ahead, I'm gonna start getting these filled in, the fender flares. So same as we did the rest of the truck, we're gonna use that very light yellow color kind of as the primer base. It'll need same amount of coats, 2, 3, whatever we did. It's just this very pale buttery yellow. We'll get those filled in. Might need to mix up a little bit more. the fender flares come up and over the tire. The tire will be kind of inset within, so they overlap, come out a little bit further than your tire. Just take your time. Get your white lines covered from the drawing. Nice thin, even coat of paint. I'm gonna flip it so I can reach the other one. Just gotta stir up a little bit more paint. Doesn't matter that it's not exact, just because we're gonna be putting this brighter yellow on top. I'm gonna flip it again, do another coat on the front one. That one's kind of weird right there. Okay, here we go, another coat. And flip it back. It's still sticky. I'm gonna blow it dry. take one more coat. I'm gonna color good. Just dry it quick. Just double check that my video's still going. We're good. Okay. So, another coat of the same, very pale white, yellowy color. And the more you layer on, the quicker this goes. Because the coverage, slow and steady, gets better. Final coat for the back. Probably would be easier if I flipped it again, but you know. Okay. So I'm gonna blow that dry, and then on top, like I did here with the brighter yellow, that was just more yellow mixed in with my light yellow, I will cover those. Just gonna clean out my brush quick. My bright yellow, it's a little bit of this funky color in it, but whatever. Did I blow this dry? I don't even remember. I'm gonna hit it in case just in case. All right, I don't know what I'm doing. So this nice bright color that we mixed up, it's not just plain, it does have white in with it. Just gonna give these a quick coat. This nice smooth paint. Get all your globby spread out. Okay, almost done here. So I want this to be a little bit brighter because it's like closer to you. It's kind of sticking out from the side of the truck, this part. So while this is still nice and wet, I'm just gonna scrape off the extra off my brush, and just with some white, just a little, I'm just gonna brush a little white along the top and kind of blend it down. So yellow is a nice easy color to work with blending because the difference is so little. It's really hard to get too much on. So you can kind of see it's a little bit brighter. So back to the back tire flare, whatever it is, the nice bright yellow. And get right up to my edge here. I'm gonna flip it. And same idea as before. While it's still wet, let me just make sure it's wet. I get a little of my wet paint on, and then scrape the extra off my brush. And then just take a little white on it. And this is the top, even though it's upside down. This is the top. I'm gonna blend the white through it. So it's just slightly lighter than the rest. And if you do get more than you want and it just gets too light, just take more of your bright yellow. You could just swoop that right in with it and it'll tone it down. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it right way. And I need to get some highlights in a few other places throughout. So, just gonna take some white. My brush is kind of dirty. Basically, it's this light color, this light yellow, maybe a little lighter. Very little on my brush. I'm gonna come through and just brighten up a few spots. So that's brighter. You can kind of brighten up very edges. And I'll highlight the top of that. And maybe just a little bit more down in here. What else should we do it? Maybe a little on the door, just a little bit. Across here. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in and work on shadows some more, just to really get some of those areas a little bit more contrast. So this time I'm going to use this kind of orangey burnt color, just a little bit mixed in with some of our yellow. And it makes kind of this bright orange. And it's very transparent, so you can easily see through it when you paint with it. And very little bit on my brush, very like thin line. I'm just gonna like really define my edges. So right here in my darkest parts, I just kind of sketch it on. If you get too much, you can kind of blend it with your finger even. If you want, even take a little of this previous shadowy color and you can put a little of that in with it. I'm gonna come up under my wheel well here a little bit. I'm gonna start with this color, this kind of ugly yellow mixed with a little bit of white. And I'm just gonna get a little of that brushed on, just kind of where it would meet with the tire. And you can be a little sloppy on your edge because that will be painted in. So just a little bit kind of around this edge. I'm gonna go back to my darker kind of orangey yellowy color. I guess it's more orange. Get this defined a little bit better. Just real loose, sketchy. I have very little paint on my brush. Up the back here. Then I've got my ugly yellow. I'm gonna just come up under my fender flare in the wheel well kind of area. Just a little. A little bit more definition with this orangey color. That was the burnt orange and the yellow. Up under where this kind of has this bump, whatever it is, kind of like lip. So if you get too much, you can just take some of your yellowy white, this one here. It's not the light one, it's kind of it's the bright yellowy one. That's a lot. I'm gonna have the glob But you can just kind of go on it, tone it down a little. I'm gonna take more of my bright orangey color. Just real lightly, thin, kind of help define this door line and then this running board. Also come around my windows a little. Maybe a little across the top, just a little bit. Oh, we need a handle. I'll use some of this color first, this kind of ugly yellow. Where's the handle? It goes under the door, right here, right? Sure. Put a little handle on. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe we can add a little bit more white. A little bit more white on some of these areas just to get it really bright. So just a little white on my brush. Another quick layer on top, what we did before. Okay, so next, how about I fill in the tires? Let's get them filled in black. We'll just fill in the whole thing. So I'm using kind of my bigger, medium-ish brush, just black paint. I'm just gonna get these all filled in. Nice, smooth, even paint. And these are inset within within this fender flare. So they the fender flare does actually come over top of it. So while that's wet, I'm just gonna take a little bit of white on my dirty brush. I'm just gonna blend that in. I'm gonna put hubcaps in later, so this middle area here doesn't really matter. So this tire, again, even though there's a little white on my brush, I'm not too concerned with that. I'm just gonna paint this black. Oops, tire is getting bigger. I should have flipped it. See what I'm doing better. Who knows if I'm, whoa, circular. Look, now I got like a flat tire lump. Okay, let me get at it this way. My tire just gets bigger and bigger. Circles are hard. So that That looks all right to me. And again, a little white on my brush. A little more than that. I'm just gonna blend it through that wet black paint. Just to lighten it a little bit. And it will have hubcaps on, so the middle part really doesn't matter what you're doing at this point. We're just gonna overlap a layer right on top later when we do those. Okay, let me make sure you're centered in there. Maybe this way a smidge. I went the wrong way. This way. Okay. So next, let's go ahead and get our headlight and bumper filled in. Just like a medium gray color. So to mix that color up, you're just gonna use black and white. I'm gonna just I got a lot of yellow in my white, but that's okay. The black is gonna hide that. So a little white and a little bit of black, not that much black. And I'm gonna make a little bit more of this because we're gonna do the hubcaps also once the tires are dry. So with this kind of medium gray color, just come in. I'm gonna switch brushes probably. Little brush. Get this little half circle shape painted in. And flip so I can reach it. This little bumper. Sometimes I forget to get everything drawn on when I do my sketches. The few for some reason are missing. These are what tend to get left out. This is just kind of like a little rectangle shape, and that's like a semicircle over there. Sorry if I did fail you. Okay. So while the tires, they're dry. So make sure your tires are dry. We're gonna make these white wall tires. So I'm gonna start with a white circle. I do need nice white paint this time though. Let me find some. So I'm gonna just put a pretty decent sized circle within this tire. I'm gonna start in the middle and just kind of work my way around because I can adjust as I go. I will be putting hubcaps inside of these as well. So it's a pretty good sized white circle. Still want tire showing, but I want to be able to fit a hubcap inside of that. I'm gonna flip it. Start small in the middle, and then I can just make it bigger as I go. Try to get this equal in size to that one. Not always the easiest thing. And remember, your tire is partially like behind the fender flare too, so take that into account. This one's a little weird, but I'm gonna roll with it. Give it another quick coat. All right, so also using white, I'm going to just put a little reflective line inside my headlight. Just a little swoop, and then a little swoop down my back bumper. Okay, so the truck is pretty much done. All that we have left is to do the hubcaps in the back. And we'll wait till that's dry. Meanwhile, we're gonna start the flowers. So I'm gonna kind of create like a background for them to be on. And I'm gonna make a nice dark green. So for my dark green, I'm gonna take black and just stir it in. Quite a bit of green. You still want it to look green. We just want it nice and dark. That way when we make lighter green for like the leaves and things, they'll show up really nice and bright. So you can't really tell what it looks like at this point. It just looks black. So just I'll take my dirty white. Take a little scoop of white and stir that in. And make sure you're saving yourself some green. Don't use all of your green. Well, I've got quite a bit still over here. So we are gonna need that for leaves and things. This is just kind of the background. I don't know if any of you guys have painted the spring truck that's got like a little bed of flowers in the back. We're starting that very similar to that. Starting this one very similar to that one. So I'm just gonna kind of make a mound. So just like a little hill within the back of my truck. And just fill that in solid. Now you can go a little higher if you want. I might go a little higher. I want my flowers to come up higher, maybe to the top of my truck. Can't really see what I'm doing. From this angle, it looks okay-ish. There, that way you can fit more on. I've got a little gap there, but I'm gonna call her good. Let me step back just to see it. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna just blow that dry quick. And I'm gonna start putting in the centers of where I want all my sunflower heads to be. So I'm gonna make a nice dark brown. It's probably going to be difficult to see because the contrast between the dark brown and this green isn't going to be that great. However, it will get better as we work, just because we will be layering brighter colors. So I'm just gonna mix up my dark brown and I'll show you. I'm mixing this orange color and the black together. About equal of both. Maybe a little bit more orange. And just stir until it's a nice chocolatey brown color. Then I'm gonna go in using my smaller brush and just put in a bunch of sunflower heads. You're gonna want to leave space in between so that you can fit petals. I'm gonna do them about, let's see. Let me stick one here. Can't really see. It's about dime sized. I would say that's about the size of a dime. And then just kind of leave yourself some space for petals for both of your sunflowers. So each one's gonna have petals on it. So I'm here, and then I'm here, and I have, you know, some room on both sides. And they can vary in size. They don't all have to be the same. I'll come up here, put one. So I've got 3 now. I'll get one here. That gives me 4. How about here? So that's 5. 6. Maybe stick one here. Coming off of the hill a little. 7. Go 8. And then my last one I can get over here. So I've got 9. If your circles, your centers are bigger, you'll probably have less. That's perfectly fine. I'm just kind of cleaning up any globs. Probably impossible to see. But I've got one here, 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 here. Okay, so next we're gonna work on petals. And to start, I'm just gonna use straight white, basically like a primer. That way when we put the yellow on top, you'll actually be able to see it. And you're gonna just put in little petal shapes. They don't need to be anything perfect. They can literally just be kind of a line. Just a little bit of white paint, just tiny bits. I'll start here. And I will go back in and fill them in. I'll overlap right onto my truck. And then just fill that in. It takes so little paint. The green was wet in that little hole. Clean up my brush quick. And I'll do this one. So that kind of overlaps. I'll just kind of dodge what I already painted. Kind of fill it in because there would be petals in there. And you're just gonna keep going all the way through, because this is kind of be behind that one. I'm just gonna fill it in a little and kind of make a petal over here. It is so little paint. I can't say that enough times. Because these little petals are itty bitty. And you don't want globs. This would be very easy to have globs on, just because of how small they are. This is starting to look super cute though. I'm liking it. I hope you guys love it. What other trucks do we need to do? I've done pretty much everything imaginable at this point. Oh, somebody wanted, and I love it. It's like the fake wood, like the Woody with like a surfboard in the back. That would be super cute. I'll have to attempt that next. This one I like because can really be up all year. I think the spring one is like that too. I think the spring one can be up all year as far as I'm concerned. It's just got pretty little flowers in the back. My knee is starting to hurt. I need like stress pads to stand on. This tile floor, I gotta believe, is concrete underneath. And I lean on one more than the other, just the way I stand. I think I need to flip. It's getting hard to see. Oop, I got way too much paint on my brush. Still too much. But I'm gonna have overlap kind of coming out of the truck. Can't really see it too well on that yellow. But later it should show up better. We're gonna paint these yellow and then kind of give them a quick outline to help make them pop. I'm gonna double check that my video is still going. I'm so afraid I'm gonna have it all finished and this will be completely missed. Give me just a second, check it out. Oh, we're good. Wow, we're an hour and 4 minutes. We still got quite a bit to do on these flowers too. Sorry guys. I mean, typically in the studio, things take about 2 hours, if not a little longer. You know, for like when you come in for class. So that's good. We're doing good. I have 2 left. Maybe this one needs a little something there. It's a little weird. Take this one. And then behind these other ones. But of course, still, we gotta make sure it's coming overlapping onto the truck. Now you probably can't really see my white paint on the yellow, but I assure you it is there. Same with this one and this one. So if you want to just kind of go back in and touch them up a little bit, feel free. I'm just going to do it quickly, just so that I got a little bit of a brighter spot on them. It's okay that some of the green still shows. That's going to create shadows when we paint them yellow. So if you just come in with a little bit of white and just kind of give them a bright pop, that will actually show through the yellow. Needs a little more paint. Okay, so I'm gonna leave those half a minute to dry maybe. I'm trying to think, do we want to go ahead and do the yellow now? And then with the leaves? Let's put the yellow on now and then we'll do the leaves. So I'm gonna go ahead and just paint these basically the same color that I painted the truck. So it's this bright yellow with white in it. Still pretty bright. And you're just very thin paint. And you're just gonna go right over top of all of that white, I think. Let me do one and just make sure I like it. Oh yeah, that works nicely. When we define these petals with the orangey color, the ones that kind of overlap onto the truck and the different areas where you can't really see, that's really going to help bring them back so you can see them. This goes a little faster just because you don't have to think. The petals are already there. And you can just go right on top of what you got. look how bright and happy this is. It's super cute. I don't always love my finished product. You guys actually get to see me go through a painting without having already previously painted it. This is brand new for both of us. And I'm not quite done yet. Don't want to jinx myself. So far, things have gone as planned. Just 3 left. Yeah, a few spots I can still see some white. Just gonna try to get those. Not being super particular, because that does add a little variation, which I'm good with. This is so tiny amounts of paint. All right, so before I do my outline, I'm gonna put some a little bit of bright in my petal, or the centers of my flowers. So using this orange color, just a little bit on your smaller brush, I'm just gonna kind of spiral it in. So I leave some of the dark show. And just spiral all the way around. And this doesn't take a lot of paint on your brush either. So we've got all our centers. Oh, we gotta do our leaves. So for leaves, so anywhere you can kind of fit one, maybe just a couple down in here where I've got gaps, but anywhere you've got kind of a substantial gap, be right in here and up here, I do. And anywhere that this curved line is still showing from where we did our hump, we're gonna wanna put a leaf on that so it just doesn't look weird. So to make my green color, I want this to be nice and bright. I'll mix it with my bigger brush just so it doesn't take as long to stir. I am going to take quite a bit of yellow, mix it in with just a little bit of green, instantly nice and bright. And to get it to stand on top of another color, because right now it's very transparent. If we paint with that, everything behind it is going to show through. So we need to add some white. Stir that in. And this should work very well. So I'm gonna switch to my smaller brush so you can see that. Sometimes my hand's in the way and I apologize. Now with my smaller brush, oops, I just stuck my thumb in some brown. my little brush, I'm just gonna come in, let me do it right side up for you guys, just to make it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. Got you probably off kilter, but just so that it's closer to me. So here I've got kind of a smooth edge. I'll just put in a little leaf there. Maybe I'll have one that comes over like this. And you could just kind of put in little leaves behind other things. And this doesn't really cover that well. I'm gonna need more than one coat of that. Maybe I can stick a leaf up here. And like down in here, that's just kind of behind some things. Little leaf there. I'm gonna put maybe some little tiny like daisies or something in this too, just to break it up a little. Put a leaf here, big one. And here. And I'm just gonna kind of dab in with very little on my brush. I'm just gonna kind of dab in these other little spots, just so it's not just this flat dark green. Maybe a little dab in here. I'm gonna put 2 leaves here, 1 and 2. Okay, I got a little. So I'm just gonna go back in and give these another quick once over, brighten them up a little. I'm gonna layer on top with a bit lighter color too, and that will really help. So you can put more leaves in too if you want. Just whatever you want to do. I basically am just mostly concerned with getting the weird like hill shape hidden, which I'm not really seeing it anymore. Only if you know it's there will you see it. Brighten up a little these little dabs I put in. There's a big old globber on my brush. Okay, so I'm gonna just lighten that up just a smidge, add a little bit more white to it. I'm not even using all of it. I'm just lightening a small area. Scrape the excess off. And I'll just put little swoops of this on all of my leaves. Even in my little dabby ones. Okay, now I can go in and just define all my petals and we should be good to go. I'm gonna use my long skinny like liner brush. And that's funny what I did with it. Oh, there it is. I can't get hold of it, it's stuck. So using my long skinny like liner brush, I'm just gonna take this color here, this orange. I'm gonna add a little water into it just because it's starting to get thick. And I want it to flow easy, just so it's a lot easier to put the lines on. So I'm just dipping my brush in water And I'm just gonna stir that water right into some of my paint. I might take a couple little dips, especially with this scrawny little brush, just to thin that out a little bit. And I'm gonna go in and just outline my petals. And you could put maybe little lines kind of in the centers here, where it comes close from the middle. Just little dashes. I'm gonna flip this just so it's easier for me to see and get at. But the idea is basic. It's just right around the outside edge and then just flick in a few little dash lines that kind of radiate out. My brush is split, so it's saving me a little time when doing my little dashes. Oh, this one. I feel like my leaves are now going to need a little outline too. That's alright. That'll be quick. And then we also, I feel like, need a little highlight inside of our centers. This is probably taking longer than the whole truck. Sorry. Let me just double check my video. Make sure it's still rolling. Yep. We're rolling. Time it is, but I'm getting kind of hungry. I haven't eaten anything today. I'm surprised I'm not shaking like a leaf. Got all the kits for the kids' pickup today. It's Tuesday, and you guys aren't going to be able to at least see this till Saturday for when you get to pick up your kids. But today is Tuesday. I've been here since, I don't know, about 10 o'clock, working on those. I have no idea what time it is now. I don't think I can see the time on the phone while the video's going. My guess is like it's about 3-ish, but it might not be. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and just give those leaves a quick little outline. I'm going to use this dark green that we made for this background, that hump. So I'll use this color. Maybe I'll just mix it in with a little bit of yellow, just so it's a little bit brighter and a little lighter. So I kind of mixed it in with this light yellow color. It was this truck color, and then added a little bit more yellow. So it's still dark, definitely darker than what we have here. And I'll give them a quick outline. I'm gonna stir water in with it. This is especially kind of thick and goopy. It's just kind of been laying on my plate, drying. So just stir a little water in, help get the flow a little thinner. And I'm just going to define my leaves. I feel like especially some of these outside edge ones need a little definition. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's nice. This is so stinking cute. I really like this one. And maybe put like the vein in the middle. Let me turn it over so I can see it better. Yes. I'm gonna just put a little highlight in the center. I'm gonna use this kind of wonky browny yellowy color. Take a little bit of white, not much. Add a little water. It's kind of dull. I'm gonna brighten it just a little. Taking some bright yellow. Stir that in too. It's kind of between my yellows. It's not quite so dull and it's not quite so bright. And just on one side of my sunflowers, let's go with the left. Why not? Let's kind of brush a little bit of this lighter color. And just kind of hit it like 2 little swoops. Just so it's got a little highlight. All right, flowers are done. Last thing, we're just gonna go in, do our hubcaps, and we can call her good. I'm taking up a lot of your time already today. So it's the same dark gray, medium gray kind of color that we did the headlight and the back bumper. Mine is all dried up, so I'm just gonna make a little bit more, some white, some black, stirred together. This nice medium to dark, kind of light. I want a little bit lighter, a little more white. And then I'm just gonna paint in some hubcaps, start small, and I can kind of get bigger as I go. Try to keep them round. They're fairly big just because the white part is like the white wall of the tire. So there's one. We should flip this so I can reach it better. I'm just gonna roll with it. Need to get a little bigger so it's closer to the size of the first one I did. Not perfect, but I like it just fine. And then I'll just give that a little bit of a highlight. I'll just take, let's see, do I want highlight or a little shadow? How about just a little highlight? I'll just take some plain white. Just some plain white on my brush. It is wet, but it should, so long as I'm just giving it one swoop, it should be fine. And we are finished. Feel free to sign your name. I feel like it needs to be on something though, don't you? It's just floating there. How about some dark brown? Just to kind of make a dirt road. So we have the dark brown here on our plate. It's a little thick from laying out. I'll just add a little bit more of the orangey color to it. Maybe just a skosh, teeny weensy bit of white. I got a little scared there. A little bit more than that. Because it's going to not show that plainly on the wood. I'm going to add water to this because it is getting thick from just laying out so long. So just some water stirred in. And we can just kind of put some shadows in. So it's not just floating. So it's more like kind of sitting on the ground. That helps me a lot. I like that. So I just very loose. I did kind of get my tire. Be careful you don't get your tire. Just some quick shadowing under it. There. And if you want to sign your name, sign your name. You'll have your jute yet to put through the back. I threw the back tie in the front. Wait for it to be dry before you do that. Just so you don't dangle your twine in any wet paint and then drag it somewhere across your painting. That would be awful. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please take a picture of your finished trucks. I love seeing them. I have a pinned post at the top of the page, Willy-Nilly. Just upload there and I can check it out. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.